We'll see you back here tonight at 6.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight in Washington, Ted Koppel.
Good evening. The Soviet Union these days is like a nation of reforming and slightly paranoid alcoholics, not only tossing out every bottle of liquor in the house, but prohibiting anyone from even mentioning the stuff. Communism is the perceived poison, and today the Soviet parliament suspended the Communist Party, barring it from all political activity in the Soviet Union. Speaking of which, by the time the dust settles from the current house cleaning, there may not be much of the Soviet Union left. Jim Laurie reports from Moscow.
Delegates to the Soviet parliament today arrived to hear Russian negotiators back from the Ukraine hammer a final nail into the coffin of the old Soviet Union.
Both parties affirmed that the former Soviet Union no longer exists and there can be no return to it.
Instead, the Russians and the Ukrainians put aside their reservations about each other for now and agreed upon a new economic and military alliance, asking other republics to join in. It was short on specifics, but was clearly intended to ensure smooth relations between the two richest and most populous republics. Ukrainians had been worried Russia might encroach on its territory. The agreement provides territorial guarantees. Ukraine is pushing for all nuclear weapons to be removed from its soil, an issue to be discussed later. The alliance also agreed to move quickly together toward a market economy. The agreement is especially important in the short term.
We are having a very severe winter ahead, and Russia would need Ukrainian grain, so they had to discuss all those things for the immediate future.
Since last week's coup, both republics have moved to recruit local National Guards, home forces with no loyalty to the Kremlin High Command. In fact, the republics are determined to put strict limits on the central government, reducing it to a coordinating body. Mikhail Gorbachev, who effectively was cut out of these talks, tonight put on his bravest face.
A necessary dialogue has begun. It was a good one. A process has begun.
Gorbachev tonight did get back into action by dispatching a delegation to the Republic of Kazakhstan to smooth over its relations with Russia. The Kazakh leader Nazarbayev again expressed alarm over what he says are Russian intentions to redraw borders. So what is developing is a patch quilt system of alliances tying one republic to another. No one knows if it's all going to work, but as the mayor of Leningrad said tonight, the hope is to avoid being buried under the debris of chaos. Ted?
It looks, Jim, as though Gorbachev's power has been eroded even further today. I gather the Supreme Soviet has just revoked the special powers that it granted Gorbachev only a few months ago. Tell me, first of all, what were those powers and what does the revocation mean?
That's correct, Ted. Mr. Gorbachev had powers to issue decrees about the economy, just about anything he wanted to do. Unfortunately, he has been virtually ignored on these powers for the past 6 to 8 months. So, in fact, they were taking away powers that nobody was paying attention to. Also, power now has moved away from the Kremlin into the hands of Boris Yeltsin, into the hands of the Republic leaders, and everything has been dispersed. So, Mr. Gorbachev, this very much is a blow to him. Ted?
So in effect, what they were really doing was just formalizing the existing state.
That's correct, Ted. In fact, Mr. Gorbachev has had very little decree power over the course of the last 6 to 8 months.
Jim Laurie, thanks very much. Is Boris Yeltsin really pulling Mikhail Gorbachev's strings now, or will the Soviet president be able to hold on to more than just the trappings of power? That'll be our focus later this evening on Nightline. With the Soviet Communist Party literally barred from all political activity in the Soviet Union now, you can just imagine the impact on those who've devoted their entire lives to the party. Jim Bitterman reports from the Ukrainian capital of Kiev.
In the remote corners of the Soviet republics, just as in Moscow, Communist Party headquarters have been shut down since last week's attempted coup. The offices sealed. Investigators looking for any evidence of local involvement with the plotters. Communist Party officials have been permitted to remove only personal items from their offices and now resent the suspicion and blame cast at them. You're not allowed to take pictures here, a communist shouted at our cameras. But a bystander intervened. He's a member of the outlawed party, said a man in a blue cap, and he'll be punished. Take a picture of him. He's a fascist. Why don't you arrest him? Even rank-and-file communists like Valentin Milyukov say they feel like they are hunted men. Milyukov has been a party member for more than 30 years at an aviation ministry factory in Kiev. The other day, the headquarters of the plant's communist cell were sealed shut, and Valentin found his lifelong passion, the party, had failed him.
When I got my party card, it was as if a piece of coal was burning my heart. It was very important for me to feel I was working for justice, for the people.
Milyukov has watched the evening newscast with growing despair. Gorbachev's resignation from the party shocked him. Watching his homeland break apart has torn him with emotion.
I'm hurting inside. It's like a father who is angry with his children, and his children don't understand him. The threat to me is if I hear any more bad news during the day, I might die of a heart attack during the night.
Milyukov tells his wife and anyone else who will listen that the Communist Party and the Soviet Union will be back one day. You're not a man, he says, unless you stick by the ideals you believe in. Jim Bitterman, ABC News, Kiev.
The purge of the old guard continues in Moscow. The Supreme Soviet voted today to strip its ousted speaker, Anatoly Lukyanov, of his parliamentary immunity. The federal prosecutor says he has evidence Lukyanov was involved in the coup and should be charged with treason. The prosecutor himself, Nikolai Trubin, then announced his own resignation. Trubin said he must accept responsibility for some of the workers in his office who failed to oppose the coup. The man who used to be Mikhail Gorbachev's trusted military advisor was buried today. Marshal Sergei Akrameyev committed suicide last week after the coup attempt failed. At the funeral, his friends and family bitterly accused the liberals in the government and the military of being responsible for Akramayev's decision to kill himself. More from the Soviet Union in a moment. Will the changes in Moscow be enough to force a change in Soviet agriculture? Also, the Iraqis, they are reportedly building up their deadly arsenal again. And on the American agenda, a program to give high schoolers a push toward college.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Mr. Goodwrench.
It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
You know, most people don't know when to start checking their socks.
One thing to watch out for, they'll wear out faster if you carry heavy loads or drive on bad roads.
And it isn't just a matter of comfort. Bad shocks can mean bad handling, too.
These GM Goodwrench shocks come with a warranty.
The warranty is good for as long as you own your GM car or truck.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
We're giving the competition a run for their money on price, too.
Ever feel too clumsy some mornings to make a pot of coffee? Wake up to Maxwell House filter packs. You get a perfect pot every time. Maxwell House filter packs, blended with Colombian beans. Because better beans make better coffee.
I think I'll make fresh dressing.
Good seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Which oil?
Pick a light one.
Dressing's great.
Good seasons, you make it fresh, you make it best.
The Prime Minister of Britain, John Major, spent the morning with President Bush in Kennebunkport, where they worked out a plan to aid the Soviet Union. No promises of big money. What they will do is speed up already existing efforts to keep the Soviet people from starving. There will be credits to buy food. One new thing, more agriculture experts will be sent over to help improve the Soviet system of growing food and getting it to market before it spoils. They have a long way to go, as ABC's Sheila Kast found out, on a visit to a farming area in the Russian Republic.
Anatoly Svashenko raises pigs 80 miles south of Moscow. He and his family have been struggling under a system that does not provide much support for private farmers. It took 3 years to get a loan for a combine. Does he think last week's events will change anything?
Practically nothing. Morally, everything. We're more sure of the course we're following, more confident in ourselves. We no longer have to answer to anyone.
But is independent thinking enough to fix what's wrong with Soviet agriculture? The system still depends on big state-run collective farms like the one next to Svashenko's land. There, it's easy to see inefficiencies, like equipment rusting, fertilizer open to the elements. On many collective farms, there are not enough workers to bring in the harvest, so it rots in the fields. Some farm directors hoard grain, refusing to sell it until the state pays them a higher price. And much of the produce that does leave the farm is damaged by rough handling or unrefrigerated trucks and never gets where it's needed. Events in Moscow have not changed any of that. Officials say they need help from the West more than ever, but they do not agree on what kind.
I think that not immediate cash, but immediate food help is necessary. I mean, first of all, grain and maybe some other types of food.
We can't keep on asking for food and consuming it all. That's just madness. We need technology, and farm technology most of all.
As for Anatoly Svashenko, he believes the future will eventually belong to private farms, like the one he will leave to his sons. Svashenko laughed when asked whether the collapse of communism would make the next-door collective farm more efficient. It's not the party, he said, it's the system, and he doesn't expect any quick changes in that. Sheila Kast, ABC News, Rusatino, Russia.
A United Nations team has gone to Kuwait's Bubiyan Island to investigate reports that dozens of Iraqi troops landed there yesterday. Kuwait says it captured many of the Iraqis. They are believed to have been trying to recover weapons that the Iraqi army left behind after the war. Iraq, however, is doing more than scavenging for weapons. ABC News has learned that UN inspectors have strong evidence of a major research and development effort by Iraq to build up its military once again. Here's ABC's Dennis Trout.
Intelligence sources claim Saddam Hussein has teams of Iraqi scientists working on chemical, biological, and nuclear warheads, as well as delivery systems capable of launching them at targets throughout the Middle East. The sources say UN inspectors were surprised to find evidence that Iraq is still trying to build a multi-stage ballistic missile. And there is new evidence of Iraq's ability to produce missiles of its own. UN inspectors have discovered that 90% of the components of the Scud missiles launched by Iraq during the war came from its own factories and not from the Soviet Union. Intelligence sources say that because of damage suffered during the war, Saddam Hussein's agents now are in Western Europe trying to buy factory parts needed to repair arms facilities. All this is in clear violation of United Nations ceasefire terms signed by Iraq at the end of the war. United Nations and U.S. officials are discussing Iraq today at a closed-door meeting in Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Analysts say the only way to make sure Saddam Hussein does not rebuild Iraq's arsenal is to remove him from power with military action. But they say also that getting the political support for such an effort would seem to be impossible. Dennis Trout, ABC News, the Pentagon.
When we come back, how the recession came to the Bluebird School Bus Company.
I wasn't expecting to be in the hospital for 2 weeks. But suddenly there I was, having a cesarean. David was wonderful. And when it was all over, I had this perfect little person. And a lot of pain. Later, I was kind of surprised when the doctor gave me Tylenol, with all the other choices they have, but the Tylenol made me feel better, so I could put my mind on more important things.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
A lot of you insist on eating wheat thins and oat thins because they taste good. But the whole idea behind these crackers is that you can eat them without feeling guilty. That's why they're baked, not fried. I mean, eat them because they're delicious, and you miss the whole point.
Perhaps you're losing a little money on annual credit card fees. Perhaps you should use the card that charges no annual fee. And keep your money where it belongs. It pays to discover.
Throughout history, great barriers have been discovered and built. Heart's Blockade for dogs and cats is one of them. Used as directed, Heart's Blockade creates an invisible barrier protecting your pets from fleas and ticks before they get a chance to live on your pet. Heart's Blockade repels and kills fleas and ticks, including ticks that carry Lyme disease, reducing the chances of causing discomfort to your pet. Helping to improve your pet's quality of life is your responsibility. Helping you do that is Heart's.
A couple of new economic statistics today that show how far the economy must go to pull itself out of the recession. Sales of new single-family homes fell 8.5% in July. and personal income fell $5.6 billion in July, about 0.1%. Another indication of trouble, a new survey from the National Association of Counties finds nearly 40% of heavily populated counties are facing budget shortfalls this year. When local and state governments come up short, the impact may be felt in unexpected ways. ABC's Linda Patillo has one example in Fort Valley, Georgia.
They have been making Bluebird school buses here since 1927. It is the largest school bus manufacturer in the world. Most workers thought they had a job for life. But this factory in rural Georgia has been hurt by budget cuts in state capitals thousands of miles away. School districts strapped for cash often cut buses rather than books.
We see it, some 30-odd states, their budgets are in the red. They're cutting back.
With orders down, Bluebird has laid off 1/5 of the 1,500 workers at its plant in Fort Valley, a tiny town where Bluebird is the largest employer. They call Fort Valley School Bus City. For generations, if you didn't go off to college, you went to work at Bluebird. Rudolph Thomas's father worked at Bluebird all his life. Rudolph thought he would too, until this month when he was laid off after 12 years. Did you think this was a secure job?
Yes. I thought it was so secure. I bought a $50,000 home.
You got all this time in with one company, you figure like your job should be secure. And, you know, that's a long time to hang in one place, and then you have to start all over.
These workers believed the country would always have the money to buy new school buses until today. Linda Patillo, ABC News, Fort Valley, Georgia.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down by 5.5 points to close at 30.49. Trading was moderate. In New York, the driver of that subway train that derailed yesterday has tested negative for drugs. Still, he's being held without bail. Robert Ray was arrested last night and charged with manslaughter because of the 5 people who were killed in the accident. When police found him several hours later, his blood alcohol level was twice the level for someone considered legally drunk. In Portland today, a man who had received the wrong heart in a transplant operation left the hospital today, just 11 days after his second transplant. On August 14th, doctors accidentally gave Greg Hamilton a heart of the wrong blood type, a mistake that could have killed him. 4 days later, they found another heart, this time the right kind. We'll be back in a moment.
Good morning, America!
Good morning!
Good morning! Wake up, you sleepyhead!
Good morning to you and you and you!
Get up, get out of bed!
Every morning all across America, over 50 million people come to life with Delta faucets.
Live, love, laugh and be happy!
Good morning, good morning!
Delta,
good
the way water is brought to life.
Did you know that on March 10th of 1876, on the 3rd floor of this building in Boston, Alexander Graham Bell spilled some acid on his trousers. Needing help, he quickly tried his latest invention. In another room, his assistant wrote in his journal the next words he heard, feeling they may have some historical importance.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want you.
And a small business was born. Today at AT&T, we understand the kind of entrepreneurial spirit you need to run a small business. But it takes more than an idea and a dream. So we offer you almost 5,000 small business specialists in service centers all over the country to help with your long-distance needs and help you grow. At AT&T, almost half our business comes from small business. When you succeed, we succeed.
It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest. It's the only time each year when we serve up lobster a dozen luscious ways. Our most delicious lobster at our most delicious prices. But only now during this special event. It's the one, the only Red Lobster Fest, starting at $8.99.
Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Spend less time in line. Use call-ahead seating.
Once again, we've put education on the American agenda, encouraging children early enough to make a difference. Tonight, a program for girls and boys from poor families, teenagers who are just beginning high school and yet who already believe they may never be good enough for college. The goal is to convince them they're wrong. Our agenda correspondent, Bettina Gregory.
14-year-old Ben Rivera is going to college. He is one of 114 students leaving urban areas like New Haven, the inner cities of Boston, Brooklyn, and Hartford for a special 3-week program at Connecticut College in New London.
And this is what we're going to be doing starting tonight. You will have a homework session from 7 to 9. Carla's already going, oh!
Ben's teacher, Jerry Baker from Wilbur Cross High School, is there too. High school teachers not only share the teaching with college professors, they choose the students who'll attend.
We ask the teachers to identify young people whom they know are bright, but who are not performing.
The college is bypassing the cream of the crop, the top 10% of minority students everyone is trying to recruit. It's reaching for less outstanding students who still may not realize they could be college material.
We have a big secret, and now we're going to share it with you. Intelligence is expendable. You don't have a small, fixed amount.
So these students take college-level courses with fancy-sounding college names like Art and Beauty and Human Life, but they are taught at a high school pace.
We will do in this class is we will learn how to look at art so that it can give back to us everything it has to offer.
Or the science of economics.
Factors of production, what are they?
The high school teachers work with their students in small study groups, establishing relationships as mentors that will continue when these students go back to their own high schools in the fall. Today Talk turns to the question, why go to college?
I wanted to go, but I mean, it wasn't real important to me until I came here. Yeah. You know, and then it just changed everything.
Point blank, education is something that if you have, nobody can take it from you.
You don't want to be poor.
I do not want to be poor.
Counselors, who are all minority students at Connecticut College, act as role models.
These kids can do work. They can do high school work. They can do college work. But they're constantly told that they can't. Society tells them that they can't. Sometimes their parents even tell them that they can't. And they just need to build their self-confidence.
And I think I'm really going to make it. Because I have my mind set on it.
It's not a fantasy. How well you do in school is controlled by you. And you can go as far as you want to go.
X, Y.
Students also learn how to apply for financial aid for college. The program is only 3 years old, so the staff at Connecticut College has no way to know yet how many of these high school summer students actually go on to college. But they do see early signs of success.
We know that some kids have learned how to study while they were here and are then getting better grades. We also have heard so far, as I know, of only one kid of the first 89 who's dropped out of high school. So right there, I'm tickled pink.
Because the percentage of black students attending college is steadily dropping, programs like this one are springing up at colleges all over the country to reverse that trend, trying to demystify the notion of going to school among tree-shaded lawns and stone buildings.
The college becomes a real world to them. It's not a mythical area when a student has been up there.
Still, it looks like another world.
This college is peaceful, quiet. When the neighborhood that I come is all gangs, drugs, and all that.
There's a lot of more trees and green grass and a lot of more space and fresh air.
But the experience of actually going to college is something these students can carry with them, back into their neighborhoods, having gained the confidence to believe they can make it in college. Bettina Gregory, ABC News, New Haven.
Our final report in a moment.
Today, there's a prescription-strength cure for athlete's foot. Lotrimin AF, the #1 prescribed athlete's foot medication available without a prescription. Lotrimin AF, the prescription-strength cure for athlete's foot.
Shoot some slices, shoot some shreds, shoot some salad, 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 salad shooter.
Presto Salad Shooter Slicer Shredder. Point and shoot right where you want. Clean up easy, dishwasher safe, store anywhere.
Salad shooter.
Original, cordless, and professional salad shooter.
Something new. Color Tiles.
It's Color Tiles Labor Day sale. Save up to 60%. Ceramic tile 47 cents each. Sheet vinyl $8.88 a square yard. DuPont Stainmaster carpet $10.99 installed. Mini blinds. Buy one, get two free. Come save at Color Tile's Labor Day sale. Store-wide savings. Color Tile, the #1 flooring retailer in America.
It's all for you. Color
Sale ends Labor Day.
They're coming. Dow Bathroom Cleaner with scrubbing bubbles. It's 50% stronger than original Dow Bathroom Cleaner. We work even harder, so you don't have to.
Do yourself proud. Make you look beautiful. Do it for yourself with Minwax and Wood.
Get beautiful color with Minwax Wood Finish and lasting protection with Minwax Polyurethane.
So do yourself proud with Minwax and Wood.
The legendary Washington Post editor. He broke open Watergate, new presidents, what he reveals to Sam Donaldson.
In other words, George Bush lied.
Prime time tonight.
And finally tonight, art that is appealing to the eye and occasionally unavoidable to the nose. We know that many artists go to New York in the hopes of being noticed. ABC's Charlie Murphy has met one city artist who has succeeded in a most unusual way.
The fish is fresh every day at Citarella's Market on New York's Upper West Side. That's not all that's fresh. So's the art, the window art. Other artists work in oils or acrylics. Fernando Lara's medium is fish. He's probably the world's foremost fish artist and a neighborhood celebrity.
He's our local hero, and if he's not there, it's not going to be a good day.
For 4 years, 7 days a week, Fernando has designed Citarella's window. No two designs have been the same, and they're usually topical.
It's summertime. Fernando needs a summer theme. What would Vincent van Gogh do?
Sunflowers, of course. But Vincent worked in oils with a wide range of colors. Maybe he wouldn't be so famous if he had had to use shrimp, salmon fillets, oysters, sole, and vegetables. Squid on squash? No. Big shrimp are $11.95 a pound. Gray sole is $16.95. And Fernando doesn't stint. The average window uses about $800 worth of fish.
It's an expensive piece of art. It's almost the same cost as Picasso's.
So why do it?
It's like a trademark of the store. It tells people what the store is. That's Citarella. You don't see that in any other place.
What does it mean to Fernando, an immigrant from Mexico with no training in art, to be recognized in a city of artists?
I think it's my life.
Your life?
Yeah.
Not everybody in New York is an artist, but everybody is an art critic.
I really didn't think it was special today.
They are absolutely gorgeous. And the fish is just as good.
The best he's done is the fish in a canoe, fishing other fishes, you know, like, it's beautiful. This guy's an artist.
And he's no starving artist. He can't hang this piece on the wall, but he can always eat it. Charles Murphy, ABC News, New York.
And that's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Ted Koppel. Hope to see you later on Nightline. Have a good evening.
And now, the news continues with Channel 2 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Ann Holmes.
And I'm Bob Mueller. In our news tonight, the investigation into the ties between Nashville contractor John Crowder and the Metro government continues to grow tonight. A federal grand jury is now set to question the head of the